Britain and much of the world has gone into mourning after the news of Queen Elizabeth II's death. UK correspondent Gavin Grey joins me. He's close to Buckingham Palace. Gavin, what's it been like there on the ground?
It's been an amazing last few hours. And I know it sounds absolutely ridiculous to say this because, of course, the monarch was 96 years old. We knew that her health was great, but people are genuinely shocked. It's been pouring with rain here, and yet people have come not just from around London and the suburbs, but from around the UK, because although the Queen died in Balmoral in Scotland, people have come to Buckingham Palace to pay their respects. I've met people in floods of tears. I've met people who just say they're stunned. They thought she would go on forever. Such has been that sort of constancy that Her Majesty has offered for 70 years that, yeah, people are still in shock and working out what this means for them, for the country, and of course for the Commonwealth with 2.5 billion residents.
So would you say there's sort of a mix of feelings? You said there's been a bit of sadness, some people are stunned. Would you say that there's just a mix amongst the people there?
I think that's a very fair word, because I mean some are going almost to Buckingham Palace to lay flowers for a quiet moment of respect. Others are going and taking photos, obviously, and selfies of themselves at the scene. I mean, this is an historic moment in time. Anyone under the age of 70 has only ever known one monarch. And that is just amazing. Obviously, goes without saying, the longest reigning monarch we've had. But over the last couple of years, with the health failing, we've known Her Majesty is trying to lay a path, an even path, a clear path for her eldest son, Prince Charles, now King Charles III, and also for his wife, Camilla, who becomes Queen Consort as well. Now, they've got a busy next 24 hours. They're both up in Scotland, staying in Balmoral. But tomorrow, or Friday, our time, they head back down to London. Prince Charles is going to give an address to the nation, and that's going to be so carefully analysed and so carefully, all his expressions, all the words that he's using are going to be really carefully looked at and worked over to see what this will mean. What sort of a king will he be? How will he try and rule? And of course, what it'll mean for the Commonwealth as well. I think the Queen has been incredibly popular around the Commonwealth. That's a very tough act to follow. Prince Charles has not been so popular in some parts of the Commonwealth, and he's got to try and, I think, portray that he is somebody who cares, that he is somebody who understands what people are going through. And it's going to be a difficult few weeks for him personally, of course, having lost his mother, but also as the next king.
Now I know you've had a massive day and it's quite late over there as we speak to you, but we can still see a lot of people there gathering outside Buckingham Palace. Do you expect there to be people staying overnight and, of course, throughout the next few days too?
Yeah, I do. I think it's going to be a scene for people to pay their respects. It's going to be a scene for, I think, people to meet as well. And let's not forget, it's also got a key part to play in the commemorations that now follow. So apart from what I was just saying with Prince Charles, the Queen will be brought back down to London, and she will then lay in state at Westminster Palace beneath the Houses of Parliament, as her mother was afforded, actually, the Queen Mother. And she'll be there for, I think, 4 days is going to be the idea, on a raised sort of dais, a raised platform. And in each of the 4 corners will be a member of the regimental armed forces. And it'll be available for people to walk past and pay their respects. And of course, I think tens of thousands of people will be hoping to do that. Hundreds of thousands will want to do it. Then from there, there'll be a commemoration service in Westminster Abbey, just across the road from the Houses of Parliament. And then the Queen's last journey by hearse to Windsor Castle, where she will be interred in the royal vault, which is beneath the floor of St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle. And that's incredibly significant because she will be surrounded there by ancient relatives of the royal family. I mean, we are talking kings and queens from centuries ago in this vault, and it's going to be a story, a moment rather, which will be private for the family, but also private for the others in the royal family, and senior people within the UK as well, as she is finally laid to rest there. Having served this country so well, I can't begin to think myself what it would be meaning at the age of 26 to suddenly be told your life isn't yours anymore. You know, we now expect you to serve the country, to be the queen, where you can't really have much of a personal life because everything you say, everywhere you go, you're known, people looking out for you. And I'm thinking, gosh, you know, yes, it's a life of privilege, a life of luxury, but is it a life I'd have wanted? I think many people would say no.
And quite the legacy she'll leave behind as well. I thank you so much for joining me, Gavin. That's UK correspondent Gavin Grey. To stay up to date with the story and more, head to nzherald.co.nz. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. To stay up to date with all the latest news from the New Zealand Herald, click the subscribe button below or check out one of the videos here. And head over to nzherald.co.nz for more details on these stories and more.